In this video, I'm going to show you how to join 3 round solid granny squares. I've used this method for my Amber baby blanket, and if you would like the full written pattern, you can find it in my Etsy shop. I'll put the link in the video information for you. This join is a form of continuous join as you go, and it uses double crochets and slip stitches. It may look daunting, however it is actually very straightforward, and you can use this method to join any squares. You just need to bear in mind that the joining points will vary depending on how many stitches you have along the sides of your square. So for example, the number of stitches you have along the side of a 3 round solid granny square will be different to the number of stitches that you have along the side of a 5 round standard granny square. The nice thing about this join is it gives this lovely braided look, this lovely little twist, which just adds a nice little feature to the whole blanket. To learn this joining method, you will need 6 3 round solid granny squares. You can find a video showing you how I make these on my channel, and I'll put the link in the video information. You'll also need your joining yarn, and this should be the same shade as the yarn that you used in the 3rd round of your solid granny squares. You'll need a hook and a pair of scissors. When learning continuous join as you go, I think it's always useful to familiarise yourself with the order in which the squares are joined. It doesn't matter how many squares you have or how many rows you have in your blanket, the joining journey is always going to be the same. So looking at my rather rustic drawing here, hopefully you'll understand, you'll get the gist. I've got the 6 squares laid out that I'm going to show you how to join. As I mentioned before, it doesn't matter how many squares you have or how many rows in your blanket, the journey will be exactly the same. So you're going to start at the top right hand corner of your first square, which in this case is my green one, and you'll work along the top edge of the green square. Then I'm going to work down the left hand side of my green square, and at that point I'm going to join onto the next square, which is the pink one. So I'll join onto the pink square, and I'm going to work all the way up to the top of the pink square, along the top edge, and then down the left hand side of the pink square. I'm then going to join onto number 3, which is the brown square, work up to the top, along the top edge, and then down the left side. So what you've got there is then your first row of squares joined, but they've all got their bottom edges, and the green square has got its right hand edge as well, unfinished. So what we're going to do is we're now going to complete the bottom edges of that first row. So we'll just work all the way along the bottom edge, and that's our first row joined. Don't worry about the last unfinished edge of that green square. That will all be explained towards the end. So we're now going to move on to the second row, and for me it's the orange square, and we're going to join the orange square onto the green square, and this becomes square number 4. Once again, we're going to work along the top edge, down the left hand side, and at this point we're going to join onto the white square. So again, working up to the top, along the top edge, down the left hand side, and join onto number 6, which is the lighter pink square, up to the top, along the top edge, down the left hand side, and that's our second row joined onto our first row. And then we've just once again got all our unfinished bottom edges to crochet along there, and then we'll crochet those unfinished edges on the right hand side all the way along that right hand edge up to the top and finish exactly where we started. So it's all done continuously. The only ends you're going to have to sew in are if you run out of yarn, have to join halfway through. So that's what's really nice about this joining method. There's not lots and lots of ends to sew in after every single square is joined. So we're going to start by taking our joining yarn and making a slip knot, pop it onto your hook, and take your first square, which in my case is the green one, and just join into any of the corner spaces with a double crochet. We're now going to work along the first edge, 1 double crochet into each of the stitches. So all the way along the edge, 1 double crochet into each stitch. So we're now at the corner, and we're going to work 1 double crochet, 2 chains, and 1 double crochet into that corner chain space. Once again, along this next edge, 1 double crochet into each of the stitches. And we're now at the next corner. In this corner, we're just going to work 1 double crochet and 1 chain, and we're going to just stop there. So I'm just going to take my hook out and show you. So here's our green square, or my green square, and I've worked my double crochets along the top edge. Once I've got to the corner, I've worked a double crochet, 2 chains and a double crochet, and then down the left hand side I've worked 1 double crochet again into each stitch along there, and then in that next corner just 1 double crochet, 1 chain. And now this is the point where we're going to join onto the next square. So I'm taking my next one, which is the darker pink, and put your squares reverse sides together, so right sides facing outwards, your yarn kind of in front. There we go, so back sides together, front sides out, and we're going to work a double crochet into the chain space on the second square. So I'm working a double crochet into that corner chain space of my pink square, and you've joined your squares there. Next, work 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches of your pink square, of your second square. It might not be pink. And then you're going to take your hook out, and this is your first joining point, and you're going to count the number of stitches on the first square up to 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your hook in from the back to the front, pick your loop up from the second square and pull it through, and that's your first joining point. You've slip stitched them together at that point. You're then going to work a double crochet in the next 5 stitches on the second square. So I'm working a double crochet in the next 5 stitches on my pink square. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and we've now reached the next joining point. So take your hook out, and you're going to count 5 stitches along on your first square. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put your hook into the next stitch along, grab the loop with the hook and pull it through to the back, and that's your next joining point. And you're now going to work a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches on your second square. So we've now got to the corner, and we need to use this as the next joining point, this corner. So double crochet into the chain space on your second square, on my pink square, chain 1, take your hook out, put your hook through the chain space on the first square, grab the loop and pull it through with your hook, chain 1, and then a double crochet into that same chain space on the second square. and that's your first joined edge. So you can see there where the joining points are. So we've joined at the corner, we've joined about 4 stitches in, we've joined another 5 stitches in, and then 4 more stitches, and we've joined at the corner again. So we're now going to effectively repeat the process. So work a double crochet into each stitch along the top edge of your second square. I'll just get that done now. I'm sorry if it looks a little bit disjointed when I do this, but when you crochet under a camera, it's very unnatural. So it's not my kind of natural flow. So I'm almost at the corner, and in the corner work a double crochet, 2 chains and a double crochet. So now along the left hand side of your second square, once again you're going to work a double crochet into each of the stitches along. And we're now at the corner, and in your corner here, just 1 double crochet and 1 chain. So we're now at the point where we're going to join square number 3, which for me is the brown one. So once again, you're going to put their back sides together and their front sides facing outwards, and you're going to join by working a double crochet into the corner space of the 3rd square. So we're now going to work a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches on the 3rd square. We've reached our joining point now, so count 4 stitches on square number 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Pop your hook in from back to the front, pull the loop through with the hook, and that's your join, your joining slip stitch. Now work a double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches on square number 3. And we're now at our next joining point. So count 5 stitches on square number 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put your hook into the next stitch along from back to the front. Pull the loop through, and that's your join done. Work a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches on square number 3. And we're now at our corner joining point. So 1 double crochet into the corner chain space, 1 chain, and then put your hook, take your hook out, and then put your hook from the front to the back through the chain space on square number 2, and pull the loop through, chain 1, and complete your corner with a double crochet into the chain space on square number 3. So you've now joined square number 2 and square number 3. So once again, we're just going to work the double crochets along the top edge of square number 3. Just 1 double crochet into each stitch along. We've reached the corner, which is 1 double crochet, 2 chains, 1 double crochet, and work your double crochets again down the left hand side of square number 3, 1 double crochet into each stitch along that edge. We're almost at the corner. So I'm just going to stop at this point for a moment and just show you. So we've joined our first 3 squares, which for the purposes of this tutorial is our first row. And you're basically repeating each square the same. So now what we need to do is we need to work along the unfinished edges. So if I turn that the other way up, you can see that we've got the bottom edges of our squares haven't actually been worked yet. So that's our next bit before we start on the second row. So we're at the corner of the 3rd square and we're going to work 1 double crochet, 2 chains, 1 double crochet, and then work a double crochet into each stitch along the bottom of that square. Just all the way along the bottom until you get to the corner. Okay, so we're now at the corner. So in the corner, we're going to work 1 double crochet, now make 1 chain, and then we're going to work a slip stitch in between the join. So in the gap there, just a slip stitch. Make another chain, and then a double crochet into the next corner space, which is, in my case, on the pink square. And then 1 double crochet into each stitch along the bottom edge of that next square. So we're almost at the corner again. So in the corner, we're going to work 1 double crochet, a chain, and then we're going to slip stitch in between the join. So in between the join there, 1 chain and a double crochet into the chain space on the next square, which is my green one. And then continue working a double crochet into each of the stitches along that bottom edge. And my window cleaner has just arrived, so if you hear some banging about, that's what it is. To see him wandering about the garden. It's never a good time to do filming. There's always some kind of background noise going on. So we're at the corner now. So it's just 1 double crochet in this corner and 1 chain. And that gets us ready then to join our second row. So I'm just going to turn that back round so that you can see it the right way up. So we've got our first row all finished there, apart from that first edge along the green square. Don't worry about that, we shall deal with that at the end. And that's how it all looks. So it doesn't matter how many squares you've got, you would just keep adding along that row until you've got the number of squares that you need to join, and then you'll just work along that bottom edge of those squares. Moving on to our second row then, so I've got my orange square next, so I'm going to turn my work over. So I've got the reverse side looking at me, and put my next square which I'm joining, which is the orange one, with its back side to the first square, which is my green one. So the right sides are facing outwards. And once again, we're going to join in the corner with a double crochet. So double crochet into that corner chain space on square number 4, this is. And then once again, you're going to work a double crochet into the next 3 stitches along on square number 4. Oops, lost my hook. And this is our first joining point. So we're joining square number 4 to square number 1. Take your hook out, count your 4 stitches along on the first square, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your hook in from the back to the front, pull your loop through, and that's your slip stitch join. Work a double crochet into the next 5 stitches along square number 4. I've lost count now. There we are, 5. Take your hook out and then count 5 stitches along on square number 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put your hook into the next stitch along from the back to the front and pull the loop through. And that's your next join done. And then we're going to finish that edge off by working a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches along on square number 4. And we've reached the corner now, so we're going to work a double crochet into the corner space, 1 chain, and we need to continue joining onto square number 1. So find the chain space on square number 1 and pop the hook through from the back there to the front and pull the loop through again, chain 1, and then finish the corner off by working that double crochet into the corner. So I'm just going to take my hook out and just show you at this point. So what we've done is we've joined square number 4, which is my orange one, onto square number 1, which is my green one. And we just need to continue working down the side of square number 4. So 1 double crochet into each of the stitches along the edge. All the way along until you get to the corner. At the corner, we're going to work 1 double crochet and just 1 chain here. So there we go, we've got our square number 4 joined onto our square number 1. So we're now on to square number 5, which for me is the white one. So turn your work over so that you can put your squares with their back sides together. So I've got my white square here and my orange square with their back sides together and right sides facing outwards. And we're going to join at the corner space with a double crochet as we've done before, and then work a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches on square number 5. And we're at our first joining point. Take your hook out, count 4 stitches along on square number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your hook in from back to front, pull the loop through, and that's your slip stitch join. Continue along, so 1 double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. And then count 5 stitches along on your 4th square, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hook into the next stitch along from the back to the front, pull the loop through, and that's your join again. Double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, and we've reached the corner. So a double crochet into the corner. Now here we need to join at 2 corner points, so chain 1, and you're going to find the chain space on square number 4 first, which is here, and pull the loop through, chain 1, and what we need to do is we need to join the top edge of square number 5 to the bottom edge of square number 2, which is my pink one. So again, take your hook out and find the chain space in the corner of the square number 2, which for me is this pink square. Back to the front, pull the loop through, chain 1. And now we need to complete the corner on my white square, so square number 5. So we're now going to join the top of square number 5 to the bottom of square number 2. So a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Take your hook out, count 4 stitches along on square number 2, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your hook in from the back to the front and pull the loop through, and that's your first join. Then work a double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches along. Take your hook out, count 5 stitches along on square number 2, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put your hook in from the back to the front on the next stitch and pull the loop through, and then we're going to put a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches on square number 5. We've reached the corner, so 1 double crochet into the corner space and 1 chain, and we've just got one more join to do here, which is at the corner with square number 2. So find that chain space in that corner there, put your hook back to front and pull the loop through as before, chain 1, and then finish your corner off on square number 5 by working the double crochet into the space. And we'll just continue to finish this square off here by working a double crochet into each stitch along that left hand side of square number 5. And once you get to the corner, we'll just put a double crochet into that corner and 1 chain, and I'll just take my hook out again so you can see what we've just done. So we've joined, we've now got square number 5 has been joined to square number 2, and we've got those 2 squares on our second row all joined, and we're just going to repeat the process with square number 6. So square number 6 for me is this lighter pink square, so we're going to put the back sides together of square number 6 and square number 5, so right sides facing outwards, and join at the corner with a double crochet. Okay, so we're now going to join square number 6 to square number 5 by working a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches along square number 6. Now count 4 stitches along on square number 5, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your hook in from the back to the front, pull the loop through, and there's your join. And now work a double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches along. Take your hook out, count 5 stitches along on square number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put your hook into the next stitch along, back to front, pull the loop through, and then finish that edge by working a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So we've reached the corner. So for the corner, work 1 double crochet, 1 chain, take your hook out, and we need to join to the corner of square number 5 first. So find the corner chain space on square number 5 and pull the loop through. Chain 1, and now because we've got to join the top edge of square number 6 to the bottom edge of square number 3, we need to join to the corner of square number 3. So again, take your hook out and find the corner space of square number 3 and pull the loop through and chain 1, and then finish that corner on the square number 6, so double crochet, and now we're ready to join along the top edge and the bottom edge. So work a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches on square number 6. Take your hook out, count 4 stitches along on square number 3, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Put your hook in from back to front, pull the loop through, and there's your join. Continue along, so it's a double crochet in each of the next 5 stitches. Take your hook out, count 5 stitches along on square number 3, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put your hook into the next stitch along from back to front, pull the loop through, and then we'll finish off that top edge with a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And we need to join at the corners, so a double crochet in the corner, chain 1, find the corner space on square number 3, put your hook in from the back to the front, pull your loop through, chain 1, and finish your corner off on chain number 6, on square number 6. Chain squares. And then we're going to work a double crochet into each stitch along the left hand edge of square number 6. All the way until you get to the corner. So once we're at the corner, we're going to work a double crochet, 2 chains, and a double crochet into that corner space. Okay, so we've joined our 6 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but we've still got the bottom edge here to work and the right hand edge here to get to our starting point. So it's the same process again. So work 1 double crochet into each stitch along the bottom of square number 6. All the way to the corner, and at the corner work a double crochet, chain 1, a slip stitch into the join, in between the join there, chain 1, and a double crochet into the corner space on the next square, double crochet into each of the stitches along the bottom edge of square number 5, in the corner a double crochet, chain 1, slip stitch into the join, slip stitch, double crochet into the corner, double crochet into each stitch along the bottom of square number 4. Now, because we're not adding any more rows to our blanket, we're going to complete the corner here. So it's a double crochet, 2 chains, double crochet. If you were going to add another row, you would just repeat the process that we did for row number 2. It's exactly the same. So we now need to finish our last edge here, so work the double crochets along that last edge. So as before, it's just a double crochet into each stitch along that edge. Oh, didn't go through both loops there. Let's try that again. all the way along until you get to that corner, and then once again in the corner it's the double crochet, chain 1, slip stitch in the join, chain 1, double crochet in the corner, and we've just got one more edge to complete. So double crochet into each stitch along. We're now at our first corner that we started with, almost at the finish. So you're going to work a double crochet, 2 chains, and then join to the first double crochet that you made. And you can now fasten off. And we've got our 6 squares all joined. There's just 2 ends to sew in, which is always a bonus. And you can see our nice little twisted braids giving a nice little feature to the join. It's a nice, I mean, it's a nice flat join. It's quite a flat join, this one. It just looks flat on the back as well. So it's a really nice one to do, and I hope you've found it easier than what maybe you thought it was going to be. Thank you very much for watching. You can find more crochet tutorials on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. To keep up to date with what I'm making, come and follow Little Dove Crochet on Facebook and Instagram. Until next time, bye.